Hello and welcome to the Dev Update. I'm QX, and with me today we have a special guest, MGpai. How you doing?
Hey guys, I'm excited to be on the Dev Update this week.
It's so nice to have you here. Thanks so much. I gave you about a
Of
whole hour's warning, right?
Yeah,
Is that why you blurred your dorm room in the background? Not
yes,
enough
of
time
course.
to pick up. All right. Well, as tradition, there's always some hot topic to talk about at the beginning of these dev updates. And I hear there's some little secret thing you're working on currently. You mind spilling the beans on that?
Yeah, so I'm finally getting some time off due to Thanksgiving coming up here in the US. So I've been working with Luca and as part of the Phoenix team, and we're working on the smart contracts. We're finalizing it for HODL token, and this it'll allow us to have the HODL-ERG game, but for any native ERG token. So we're planning on doing HODL COMET, and yeah, COMET is a meme coin, so that will drum up some excitement for that. And another big one we're excited to do is HODL ADA once Rosenbridge is live. So then a lot of people will be curious to play a game maybe on ERG and bridge over from ADA to ERG and have some fun, you know. And if you don't know about the HODL game, all it is essentially you deposit your ERG or token into a bank, and when you deposit, you get a token in return called HODL token or HODL ERG. And yeah, that's it. Then, if you want to get your ERG back, you deposit your HODL token or HODL ERG, and you get back. You pay a small percent fee, like 3% for HODL ERG, which is currently up and running. It's a 3% a bank fee and a 0.3% dev fee. So what the 3% bank fee does is it increases the ratio in the bank. And what this increase does is it increases the price relative to ERG and the HODL token itself. So every time you exit, you help increase the price for the next person. So it's guaranteed profit if you stay in long enough. So, you know, as I guess as the time goes to infinity, you know, you're pretty much guaranteed to make a profit relative to ERG and HODL. So this same mechanic is going to come to any native wrap token you get from the Rosen Bridge, and it'll be quite exciting to see people coming from other ecosystems to play with these fun games and even participate in other DeFi on Ergo.
So how are you going to set this up? Are you going to make this a self-service kind of thing where anybody can take a token and create a HODL erg kind of or a HODL token scenario? So I could take my love token and do a HODL love scenario, or is it something that they have to interact with like a service and wait for it to be verified and then go from there until it's set up?
Yeah, so this is still an active discussion, but first we just want to get it up and running like any basic HODL token. So we're just going to Luca and we're going to support like Comet and any Rosen stuff, HODL Rosen, HODL Ada, and then going forward we're going to have a better front end UI for self service, so someone can access our front end like our website is directly and say, hey, I want this token, so you provide the token ID, and then you deposit maybe like one token just to get that bank started, the smart contract like deployed, and a little bit of funds in there. And then we'll probably charge like a developer fee because we spend quite a bit of time developing the front end, back end, and all the contracts. Because you have to be really careful with how you do all this, because a lot of money can be at stake. You know, there's about 110,000 ERG in the
HODL
Phoenix
erg,
bank
yeah.
box. So yeah, HODL ERG, yeah. So not the token itself, the actual ERG. So it's a lot of money at risk. So, you know, a lot of auditing has gone through, and it's really robust. You know, with Luca and we go through the code together, and you know, we look through everything. We have a bunch of tests done in the off chain, and for HodlERG specifically, we had Kushti, the founder of Ergo, do a good audit for us too.
That's exciting. So are you going to set? Are you still in talks about what percent you're talking? I know HodlERG just is at 3%. There's also a HODL 10, right, floating around for
Yeah,
10%
yeah,
for
yeah.
for
We have
hardcore
plans
users.
to start HodlERG 10. Yeah, so you pay a 10% bank fee. So, you know, it'll be really expensive to get out. But I guess the ratio will rise faster, so you could make more profit sooner. And this will be very interesting to see with the price of ERG, you know, slowly climbing. So I wonder how this will affect the game. It's really fun to see.
That is cool. All right. So let's so coming up, you said you have Comet, and you're going to do Comet, and as well as some tokens or
Rosen.
coins that cross the bridge,
Yeah.
essentially. So
Yeah.
Rosen,
Comet,
Ada,
Rosen, and Ada. Yeah.
really cool. All right, that'll be fun. That'll be really interesting to lock up. You're saying lock up native Rosen tokens on the erg.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actual
Exactly.
Rosen.
Hot
Okay.
Rosen. Yeah, yeah,
That'll
yeah.
be all right. That'll be fun. That'll be great. Okay, great. Well, let's dive right into the dev update. All right, I'll start off with Luivatra. Crux Finance. Finishing up position endpoints. Biggest remaining task is showing to the user what assets they put into an LP position and what assets are in it now, making any IL easily visible. And IL stands for impermanent loss. Small front-end fixes have been going live, but bigger one including adding the position is planned for end of month. Paideia beta, fixing numerous issues, fixing the treasury transactions endpoint performance before the beta goes public, which should be soon, I believe. I think in a couple days, maybe. Other, improving security on our server to allow for more security-sensitive software to run. You know, I was reading this from Louis, and after Crux Finance, I was going to say when, Louis, and I waited, and then I could still wait because I can even say that with Paideia. So when Louis
Yeah, I think it looks like we're really close. So
we are.
this is really exciting. A lot of projects are going to come out at once.
It's going to be great. Paideia beta, we're going to jump right into that with the SIGs and test it out. And as I said in one of our previous, or the AMA this week, we're going to try to give some students power for voting and direction in our university with some of this Paideia stuff. So that's going to be pretty neat, you know. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we got Morphic here, and he was taking a week off. Looks like he's back, and he exported the address and contract template EIP5 types to JS, and he reviewed a bunch of PRs relating to looks like the Sigma state interpreter, so the ergo script compiler more or less, and he's looking forward to release Sigma JS with new exported types. So I guess what this will do is it'll make Fleet SDK even more powerful. You know, from the past few months, Fleet's been getting better and better, you know, being super easy to use it, and it's really friendly to new developers. So Morphic's really picking things up and adding even more complex stuff from Scala, and he's letting that come into Fleet JS. So exciting stuff.
How's the documentation on that stuff?
The documentation's okay. I think the developers need to pick that up, but you know, I think for now it's nice that we're getting a lot of features because we don't have as many like developers, you know, in the bear market. So the features are more important, I would think. But I think you know, when we get to the more like bullish cycle, we should definitely have a lot more documentation since we'll have tons more developers onboarded.
Cool. We've got C8 with Playground, looking into a few real-time collaboration libraries to make Elixir plus JX work. What, are you familiar with Playground?
Oh yeah,
What,
it's a really cool website. Yeah, you get to paste ergo script, and it gives
that's
you
what
an
it
address
is.
for the ergo script. Yeah,
Right. Okay, very cool. That's
it's really nice for
that was
new
ergo hack,
developers.
right?
You know,
Or that
yeah,
was
I think
or
so. I
before
don't
or
know.
something. Yeah,
Maybe.
he ran an ergo raffle for it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Probably.
really pretty. Yep. Okay, great.
And we got Colby here with ergo-node. He's worked on a first draft of NePaoPao refactoring. So I think he's just making the code base a little more cleaner for the ergo-node itself. So that's probably pretty helpful for other developers to get started looking through Node.
We've got the man himself, Kushti, Ergo Protocol Research and Development, continuing to work on subblocks propagation, prototyping code.
Ooh.
Also started an EIP for it. Progress with EIP is slow, though. Quickly reviewed 6.0 PRs. It seems activation to be considered for all of them. Polishing sidechains white paper towards broader release. Reviewed modularization PR in the node by Colby Cellador. Sidechains is picking up a lot of steam with weak blocks and that kind of thing, so it seems to be a popular topic that not only catches Ergo, but people from the outside looking in. ChainCash white paper has been massively updated. And if you missed Kushti, he did some good explanations of ChainCash during the AMA this last Wednesday. So check out that AMA if you want some better explanations of how ChainCash works and that kind of thing. Created some first issues, including first one with a bounty, discussing ChainCash server implementation with soysor, and first issues including ones for contributors are there on the GitHub. Dexy minting UI is live again. Dimitri and Code for Us are checking what's needed for launching the LP UI. Oracle Pool, testnet Oracle Pool under update now to lower update consensus threshold, which will allow to do other experiments easier. And we will experiment with mainnet pool updates while there are not any users there. So that'll be good. It's always good to get those kind of bugs out of the way before something goes mainnet launch and to experiment with that.
My God, Kushti does not sleep.
Nope, he doesn't.
Always has so much.
This one's you, Morphic.
Or
is that? That's just an issue. Yeah, you're right.
Keep going. A bounty. Yeah.
Yep.
No, for those of you that don't know, there's tons of bounties in the Ergo core protocol. So if any skilled developers in Scala or JVM have any experience, you should check out the issues on ergo-node and Sigma State repositories. You can earn like a couple hundred Sig USD.
Even more. There was
working on it.
There was somebody just popped the list up somewhere in chat. If you're in Telegram, just go to click the name of the chat, go to links, and you'll see the bounty in there. You can search for it. There's a Google Doc with a ton of bounties in there, at least a page and a half of bounties that you guys people could easily bang out and make. I think there's one for $2,000 or 1,000 or something like that. There's not small numbers, that's for sure.
Yeah. And looks like we got Captain Nemo with a Nautilus team update. So there's a new version of Fleet that got released, version 0.3.2. And blockchain providers is finished. And we got the Ergo GraphQL implementation of that. And I'm excited for this personally. Haley PDL added the index node client into Fleet. So this will allow you to directly interact with the node through functions instead of making like manual API calls and making manual interfaces. You get that built into Fleet, so it's just another step towards making Fleet super easy to use.
Yep.
And for those of you that don't know, this is for like an index node. An index node is super cool because it replaces the need for an explorer. So you just have a node running and you got your own blockchain, your blockchain explorer there. So super powerful.
Yeah, that's one of the bottlenecks at the point in time when you have things like Nautilus and at least Terminus on iOS, where they're using GraphQL based on Explorer to make these calls, and that can get kind of bottlenecked if there's only a handful of Explorer instances out there. But as you said, right?
For sure.
You can pop up a node and hit a button. I think does Sectergo have an option where you can move a slider and make it an index node, or is it by default? I thought I heard Aberg talking about that somewhere. But index nodes are...
I don't know, we got to ask him.
Yeah. Index nodes are nice with that. Even with the simple stuff that I do in the background, there are several things I can do more with index nodes than I could with a node, so that I can pull my reliance off on hitting the Explorer API.
Correct, yeah. And now it looks like we got an update for SigmaFi. So SigmaFi uses the new mempool aware FleetSDK to allow transaction chaining by default. So this is pretty good news because transaction chaining allows for your transactions to go by faster. So you don't need to wait for something to confirm. You can just keep spamming a button to do something and it'll go through. So transaction chaining is awesome. And looks like we got infinite scrolling for orders and bond. So it's a UI update. And they added auction coin to SigmaFi.
Oh, that'll be nice.
I guess you can take loans or whatever using auction coins. So
very cool.
That's interesting.
That is. All right, we have Ilya from...
we got Liquid.
Oh, we missed Liquid?
Liquid.
Damn it.
Yeah,
there's got a little update right there. Thank you
Mike's
for that.
not going to be
happy. Mike's going to be pissed at me. Oh, gosh. I should just cut this part out of the video. All right, so we have Liquid with THCFM, continuing UI and front-end work. And I suggest anybody that's interested in THC to pop onto his Telegram. He does a great job at giving these kind of daily updates of how he's doing and what he's working on. Really good.
And we got Ilya from Spectrum here. So he's continuing the work on chain vaults on Ergo. And I guess he's specifically working on inbound deposits handling. And then he's also working on a universal liquidity aggregation framework as part of the Spectrum Bloom implementation. And it looks like this will enable off-chain bots to execute any order against not only liquidity pools, but also any other order if they're both composable.
Oh, interesting. That seems like it's going to speed some things up, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm not too familiar with how all these
Yeah.
Spectrum LP stuff work, but I'll read into it eventually.
Okay.
Looks like we got.
No, you want to take
guy.
it? Why don't you take it since you're so close to this?
Yeah.
You take this one.
Yeah, sure. So looks like there's a COMET update, and they got listed on non-KYC, so that's a SEC, so it's really exciting. Then we got they got rejected from CoinGecko, unfortunately. I heard it was due to their low volume, so maybe a HODL comment will change that.
It could.
Yeah.
Can I just make a point that volume is?
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a bullshit metric. What a bullshit metric. I'm sorry. It's
hard.
It's hard. It's very hard. You have people that'll pay for this and pay for swaps and market makers and that kind of thing, and then you have people that chains that are more honest, and so it's impossible really to get a good impression of really what the meat of that kind of stuff is when you have paid services that do this kind of stuff for you. So yeah, super difficult, disappointing, but it is what it is. I guess once you start using that as a metric, then everybody has to, and it doesn't mean anything after that. But sorry, go for it. Keep going.
No, I agree. That sucks, but hopefully, one day things will change. But it is what it is. So looks like in a couple of weeks they'll drop their new NFTs made by Lyson that are really awesome, and also will have some COMET HODL utilities. So yeah, both things I worked on actually. So we got COMET HODL, which I talked about earlier, and the NFTs, they're using Lilium, which is a platform I made for mass minting and making NFT collections. So they're going to be using that to launch some pretty awesome NFT artwork.
You don't think it's you don't think it's too risky to associate yourself with COMET?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Can never trust COMET.
I know, right?
I think I'm obliged to say I don't buy these NFTs.
Oh, and then what's this next one? Look at this one. Is this you they're talking about here?
No. I would never accept COMET. It's like I got some influencers that accept COMET token as payment, so I don't know what kind of influencers these are, but okay.
But it said their dev got depression after joining COMET. Poor guy.
Oh damn, yeah.
Oof.
Can't blame them.
Yep, I know, right? You got to think how bad is it when you accept a job developing for COMET? It's got so they probably were already close to the point of depression, and then they went from there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's serious or not, but we can laugh because we can assume it's not serious. Oh boy! All right, what do we have next? Yeah, that would be interesting. Here we go. We have analog ergo atomic swaps. Custom algamel encryption and software updated to accept specific Q and G values necessary for generating compatible keys. Pi-atomic API generate algamel public key endpoint added, as well as automatically updated a local pub key storage file with every new key. REST API GET endpoint added for clients to query their public key storage file contents and added initial responder. Local contract lock time expiry check immediately after they upload their fund their contract. Atomic Swap's going to be awesome. I can't wait for it. It's analog ergo. It's going to be great. Long time coming, and I think it went through a name change too, but it's going to be really exciting when that comes up.
For sure.
I think this is the last one, and this is all you, MG.
Yeah, so it looks like we got to the ChainCash. So I think from the past few weeks, soysor has been helping Kushti with ChainCash implementation. So they added some documentation, added configuration of note predicate to ChainCash config file, and loading of predicates to server start, added API endpoints to get users configured, node acceptance predicate, and it continued work on minting reserve box. And looks like we got an external contributor who's not from Ergo, so that's really exciting.
That
That
is.
we're getting interest from people outside the ecosystem. That's all I can hope for. So it looks like we got Hakon Warder worked on some pull requests, and it looks like unfortunately soysor ran into some upstream Rust lib issues. So yeah, it looks like the node interface Rust can't easily be used in async code, which really limits its use. And soysor will use the FleetSDK instead as a replacement. Then we got Sigma Rust fails to parse contracts. So looks like soysor will look into himself to fix that. And then soysor's also working on Machina finance, and he started working on execution box contract.
That's you see that quite a bit with these kind of things where you dive into something that rely on other libraries or other things, and it doesn't quite work like you thought it was going to work. So, if you look at ErgoHack, it was it Nemo with MetaMask integration? Was that Nemo?
Oh yeah, the MetaMask.
So Nemo, the way that the fishy way that MetaMask works in that instance was not acceptable or suitable or wasn't working quite like it. So Nemo had to integrate something totally into another language from scratch or something to get it to work, which is, so you have an idea in mind of how you're going to code something, and then you have to end up completely fixing something else to bring it in. So it's interesting how these kind of things go together. Let's just double check to make sure we didn't miss anybody. I think that's it. I think we're into Thursday there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, any closing things, MGpai? I really appreciate you coming. This is fantastic. We had Mike last week.
Of course, anytime.
You this week. I think it's good to have actual devs on here that will can relate and talk about their stuff as well as have a better insight, deeper insight into kind of what people are working on.
Yeah, of course. I'm excited. You're seeing a lot of different projects. Finally take hold. A lot of finance stuff. We got Machina finance. We got Dexy. We got
ChainCash.
Spectrum, and then ChainCash, and Rosen kind of counts. Then I guess atomic swaps, the ergo analog thing, also kind of counts. So a lot of stuff coming up. So I'm excited to see how all this turns out.
I'm really excited about ChainCash, and that there's when it starts off, there's a lot of stuff that the everyday user is not going to touch or understand or even be participating in.
Right.
But it'll be fun to watch from the sidelines until it's something we can simple down and have a simple interface for it to be able to utilize based on that. But it's amazing to see these kind of things that Kushti and teams and other teams come up with, like these big ideas of these big financial systems brought down to over to the blockchain and duplicated and made even better and trustless. It's just it's wild. It's wild that we're in this time to see this kind of stuff happen.
Right.
When should we be able to expect a HODL Rosen?
Probably another week or so. Super close.
Did you call your parents and say, "Mom, not coming home. I got to work on HODL Rosen"?
Oh
She's
man,
like, that damn blockchain.
She's waiting for me.
Right now, she's in the car outside your dorm waiting for you.
Imagine.
Oh, that's great.
Mom, I got to record a video. X bothered me again.
Perfect. All right, thanks MGpai. Thanks everybody. Stay tuned for the AMA next week, and we'll hopefully see you at the dev update next week. Thanks for joining us, MGpai.
Hi.
Ciao.